Ligeia. Ligeia! It is by that sweet word alone, by Ligeia, that I bring before mine eyes the image of her who is no more. I cannot, for my soul, remember how, when, or even precisely where I first became acquainted with the lady Ligeia. And now, while I write, a recollection flashes upon me that I have never known the paternal name of her who was my friend and my betrothed, and who became the partner of my studies, and finally the wife of my bosom. There is one dear topic, however, on which my memory fails me not. It is the person of Ligeia. She came and departed, as a shadow. I was never made aware of her entrance into my close study, save by the dear music of her low, sweet voice as she placed her marble hand upon my shoulder.
How are your studies coming along?
Beyond well, my love. I perceived that her loveliness was indeed exquisite, and felt that there was much of strangeness pervading it. Yet I have tried in vain to detect the irregularity and to trace home my own perception of the strange. I peered into the large eyes of Ligeia. The hue of the orbs was the most brilliant of black. The strangeness, however, which I found in the eyes, was of a nature distinct from the formation, or the color, or the brilliancy of the features, and must, after all, be referred to the expression. The expression of the eyes of Ligeia. How for long hours I have pondered upon it. How have I, through the whole of a midsummer day, struggled to fathom it? What was it? I was possessed with a passion to discover. Those eyes, those large, those shining, those divine orbs. Without Ligeia, I was but as a child groping benighted. Her presence, her readings alone rendered vividly luminous the many mysteries of the transcendentalism in which we were immersed. Those eyes shone less and less frequently upon the pages over which I pored. That she loved me I should not have doubted, but in death only was I fully impressed with the strength of her affection. Ligeia grew ill. I saw that she must die, and the struggles of the passionate wife were, to my astonishment, even more energetic than my own. On the day in which she departed, she bade me repeat certain verses composed by herself not many days before.
Let us hear it in your voice.
Lo, 'tis a gala night, within the lonesome latter years. An angel throng bewinged, bedight, in veils and drowned in tears. Sit in a theater to see a play of hopes and fears, while the orchestra breathes fitfully the music of the spheres. Mimes in the form of God on high mutter and mumble low, and hither and thither fly, mere puppets they, who come and go. At bidding of vast formless things they shift the scenery to and fro, flapping from out their condor wings, invisible woe. That motley drama, oh be sure, it shall not be forgot, with its phantom chased forevermore by a crowd that sees it not, through a circle that ever returneth in to the self-same spot, and much of madness, and more of sin, and horror the soul of the plot. But see, amid the mimic rout, a crawling shape intrude, a blood-red thing that writhes from out the scenic solitude. It writhes, with mortal pangs, the mimes become its food, and the seraphs sob at vermin fangs, in human gore imbued. Out are the lights, out all, and over each quivering form, the curtain of funeral pall comes down with the rush of a storm, and the angels, all pallid and wan, uprising, unveiling, affirm that the play is the tragedy, man, and its hero, the conqueror worm.
Oh God. Why can't the conqueror be conquered? Just once.
As she breathed her last sighs, there came mingled with them a low murmur from her lips.
Who Who knoweth the mysteries of the will with its vigor? Man doth not yield him to the angels, nor unto death utterly, save only through the weakness of his feeble will.
I had become a bounden slave in the trammels of opium, and my labors and my orders had taken a coloring from my dreams. I led from the altar as my bride, as the successor of the unforgotten Ligeia, the fair-haired and blue-eyed Lady Rowena Trevanion.
Hi.
In halls such as these I passed with the Lady Rowena the unhallowed hours of the first month of our marriage, passed them with but little disquietude.
All by myself. Dinner is ready, my love. You must be famished.
That my wife dreaded the fierce moodiness of my temper, that she shunned me and loved me but little, I could not help perceiving, but it gave me rather pleasure than otherwise. I loathed her with the hatred belonging more to demon than to man.
My sweet, perhaps, given tomorrow's weather is fair, we could take a picnic together. On the pond?
Perhaps. My memory flew back, oh, with what intensity of regret, to Ligeia, the beloved, the august, the beautiful, the entombed, in the excitement of my opium dreams, for I was habitually fettered in the shackles of the drug. I would call aloud upon her name during the silence of the night. Ligeia, as if through the wild eagerness, the solemn passion, the consuming ardor of my longing for the departed, I could restore her to the pathway she had abandoned. About the commencement of the second month of the marriage, the Lady Rowena was attacked with sudden illness. The fever which consumed her rendered her nights uneasy, and in her perturbed state of half-slumber, she spoke of sounds and of motions.
Did you hear that?
I didn't hear a thing. I had felt that some palpable, although invisible object had passed lightly by my person.
Edgar. See? Did you see it?
But I was wild with the excitement of an immoderate dose of opium, and heeded these things but little, nor spoke of them to Rowena. Here, drink this. In a second thereafter, as Rowena was in the act of raising the water to her lips, I saw, or may have dreamed that I saw fall within the goblet 3 or 4 large drops of brilliant and ruby-colored fluid. If this I saw, not so Rowena. She swallowed the water unhesitatingly. I cannot conceal it for my own perception that immediately subsequent to the fall of the ruby drops, a rapid change for the worse took place in the disorder of my wife. With a bosom full of bitter thoughts of the one only and supremely beloved, I remained gazing upon the body of Rowena. A sob, low, gentle, but very distinct, startled me from my reverie. I strained my vision to detect any motion in the corpse, but there was not the slightest perceptible. Yet I could not have been deceived. I had heard the noise, however faint, and my soul was awakened within me. I listened in extremity of horror. The sound came again. It was a sigh. I might have dreamed that Rowena had indeed shaken off utterly the fetters of death, but if this idea was not, even then, altogether adopted, I could at least doubt no longer when, arising from the bed, tottering, with feeble steps, with closed eyes, and with the manner of one bewildered in a dream, the thing advanced boldly and palpably into the middle of the chamber. I trembled not, I stirred not, for a crowd of unutterable fancies connected with the air, the stature, the demeanor of the figure, rushing hurriedly through my brain, had paralyzed, had chilled me into stone. Could it indeed be Rowena at all? The fair-haired, the blue-eyed lady Rowena Trevanion? Why should I doubt it? There streamed forth into the rushing atmosphere of the chamber huge masses of long and disheveled hair, and now slowly opened the eyes of the figure which stood before me. Here, then, at least can I never be mistaken. These are the full and the black and the wild eyes of my lost love, of the lady Ligeia.
Who knoweth the mysteries of the will with its vigor? Man doth not yield him to the angels, nor unto death utterly, save only through the weakness of his feeble will.